The guy who wrote the book will blow you away. Big Nicky Witchell.
The royal. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, here. Do you know what makes me believe it? Because he still covers lizards to this day. That guy, the BBC royal correspondent.
The Duke of Edinburgh, by the way, was well into the idea of Loch Ness because all these people want.
He's probably related to it.
See,
big amphibian. He must have run out of fat girls' beavers. You know, did you ever see that clip of him? Talking about, no, Elvis.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Mythstories. I have a couple of things to bring up to you before we start this episode.
All right.
Number one, where are you parked?
I'm parked right now. Hold on. I got round there today. Chloe was
You're
driving.
parked in ABS.
What's that?
Absolutely daddy space.
ADS. Yeah, I was going to say, you said it.
ADS.
The body space. Body, isn't that? That's the way John Mayer says body. Body.
Your body is wonderland. So nice, but I like it.
So like,
I like
we're parking your space. Yeah. Sorry, but listen,
We don't put any blame on Chloe
Chloe
here.
was driving.
Oh, you bitch.
But we came in. I deduced that it would be easier for you.
Why are you a 1940s detective? Chloe, I deduced we should park in
I
space.
deduced that it would be easier for you to park in the thing than it would be for us today because
What's
there was
under
two cars
these?
already in there.
Under these. Makes a statement, me and
We also tried to give you enough space to park, but when we were doing it, it was impossible.
it's either all me or nothing.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Now I've something else to bring up
Apologies.
with you. I've something else to bring up with you here.
Oh, it's from the phone. Must be real.
This is when Mysteries listeners pull you up on something you've said. This is from Tiernan. Shane just saw the latest episode of Mysteries, so this will have been a while ago. Kieran sold you a lie as the truth. Now this is Dr. Kieran Bartlett, right?
All right, Taryn, you wee dick.
Someone
Go ahead.
forward this to Birmingham University. The Kennedy Centre is actually named after Hugh Curley Kennedy, who opened and owned the centre. It could be argued that it's incredibly sad that I know that and decided to make you aware, but I can only imagine the speed at which the Goblin King would interrupt you to correct you if he knew that.
Right. Let me say.
said it was named after JFK.
Kennedy Way is named after JFK, and I believe that Kennedy Centre is named after Kennedy Way.
But it isn't.
Now they're saying it's named after. I had an uncle, Hugh Kennedy, but it's not Curly Kennedy.
The diversion here is incredible. Diversion
I
tactics.
just didn't
You were wrong.
want. I didn't want to get into saying that's named after my erstwhile uncle.
You're what?
Who my uncle of some time in my life,
What does erstwhile mean?
sometime beforehand.
Why do you have to do that?
Erstwhile. You know what I mean? Like I
Erstwhile. Your German name.
I'll take this off, Tiernan. Do you know what I won't take generally? People pulling us up on anything in Mysteries. Because there's been
Yeah.
a few of these. Somebody wrote under the... they're living rent-free, right? Somebody wrote under the JFK one going, there's some misinformation here.
Yeah.
And spurious comment. What did they say? Dan Snow did a brilliant 7-part... I'm sure he did do a brilliant 7-parter on JFK. Do you know why? Because he's funded by Gary Lineker's tap-ins. There you go. Do you know what I mean? And then they're going to fucking...
Close.
They're going to fucking say... isn't it Gary Lineker's company?
The rest is history.
It's Gary Lineker's company.
Not Dan
That's not
Snow.
Dan Snow.
Goalhanger.
Oh,
It's a Goalhanger
someone put Kieran
podcast.
up on this.
Dan Snow isn't.
Dan Snow.
The rest is history is part of Goalhanger.
Yes, but
Yeah,
Dan
that's
Snow
not
is a
Dan
completely
Snow.
different podcast.
Suck my dick. Right.
What's wrong with you today, Dr. Bartlett?
I can't wait.
Erstwhile.
It sounds like when you get pulled up on misinformation, you get erstwhile to deal with it.
Do you know what it makes?
Erstwhile!
It makes more misinformation brew in my head. I'm like, Dan Snow can't be playing for Tottenham, right? No, so like I'm sure he did do a fucking brilliant 7-parter.
Yeah.
See if do you know what not to expect? The same thing from 7-part Dan Snow podcast. And me and Shane fucking around for an hour going, I sort of read this. I think he gets shot, right? Like, you can't expect
He
the
got,
same.
he got shot with a bow and arrow.
Unbelievable. Yeah, just people. And that guy, the cartridge one. The cartridge guy.
Yeah.
Kieran, just going to pull you up on the terminology, you soft wanker. Do you know what? You're not paying rent in there, all right? And you should be. You should pay rent.
It's a co-ownership. They're paying a bit of rent,
A wee bit, yeah.
but it's subsidised.
You're not.
It's
You'll
subsidised.
never be a homeowner.
Yeah.
I just, you know what I don't like about it is that here, it's a choice because a shell casing can also be known as a cartridge. You dick. So fuck off. You know what I mean? Anyway, I can't wait to see your comment under this one because even though you don't like me, apparently you'll still be watching. Anyway, and now you're going. No, I'm not even commenting.
We're walking on Kieran. Just sight. It's complete sight.
The light
of Vespavian. Before we get into this episode, listeners might not appreciate in banter and that kind of thing. But what would you say is the premier 10-pin bowling centre in Northern Ireland?
Westway Bowling, but I think
Or
it's gone now.
Dundonald Ice Bowl's got to be up there.
Dundonald Ice
And at
Bowl.
the Jet Centre, they have a great one.
You can. Do you know where it used to be good?
And there's a Nando's there.
The Super Bowl used to be good. Do you
Right.
remember the Super Bowl in
Yes.
town?
Any others?
No, I can't think.
Okay, let's get into this
I
episode.
like bowling alleys where you can go in and go, no chicken wings.
Right. Yeah.
No chicken wing grease on the fingers here, all over the surfaces everywhere.
We have this episode today, which is all about the Loch Ness Monster. Now, this is Mythstories. So this, let's say before we go into it, probably going to be more myth than story, but there is good stories.
More myth than history.
But Kieran,
Dan hated that.
Kieran, there's great history in the myths.
I like that. Do you know what I like about myths? They're like rumours.
Yeah.
And rumours.
Great album.
It is a great album. Great documentary about the making of that album as well.
All bucking each other, Fleetwood Mac.
Mate, their dressing room must have stank.
They had a very ancient Egyptian philosophy.
Attitude towards towards
family and
bucking.
sex.
Yeah, family and sex. So like rumours.
That was a
usually,
follow-up album.
Rumors usually give you like a. They give you a sense of what people are talking about.
Yes,
you know, so
yes.
You're still getting something there.
So talk to me about. First of all, have you ever been to Loch Ness?
I don't think so. No,
You ever been to the Highlands much?
I've never been that high in Scotland. I think as high as I've been in Scotland.
I took an AT in the park once. I've never been.
I walked into a cloud of Lynx Africa and got a wee bit of something off it. No, I think as high as I would have been in Scotland,
M&D's.
is probably like Glasgow and Edinburgh. So
I was on the
south.
I was on the roller coaster at M&D's once. So okay. So when we talk about Loch Ness, to set it up, Loch Ness is a loch in Scotland. I want to say Loch Ness goes from Fort William to Inverness or something like that. It's they paint a picture. It's a mile wide, 24 miles long.
Wow,
Big old loch, mate.
I didn't know that.
Now, I didn't know that.
I know. I got.
Why are you drowning on land?
You did. I sounded like George from Rainbow. Didn't I? Whoa! Zippy. Anyway, right.
That's all.
Wasn't there always something weird about Zippy? Like there's some gimp.
Zippy and Bungle?
There's a wee bit of gimp about him.
Yeah.
Gimpy.
Yeah.
In there, like with a zip.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you something about Loch Ness as well.
Submissive.
Loch Ness is part of the reason that I think this legend comes from Loch Ness. Very, very, very deep and very cloudy water.
Right.
So really lends itself to what lurks beneath the surface.
Like a pish I do after I've done a few podcasts about holding it in. It's deep and cloudy, like, you know.
Yeah. Now it's Loch Ness at its deepest is deeper than the sea in between Scotland and Norway, between the North Sea. They're really deep.
The knowledge. The sharp edges of facts.
I had to like go down like I was what do you call it, submerging myself in my own brain there. Oh, it's deep. So Loch Ness is particularly deep, right?
Right.
And I was
Sorry, I've never noticed that. I've literally never noticed that there's that's like a slice through Scotland, isn't it?
Yep.
I've never noticed that.
So yeah, it goes from below Fort William, right up to Inverness.
That's wild.
One thing you'll know about Inverness is we love the name of the football team, Inverness Caledonian Thistle.
Yeah.
They will play a part in this story, that football club. So tell me what you know about then the Loch Ness Monster. Like, what does that summons up for you? What do you think when you think about the Loch Ness Monster? Going into this, what do you know?
Right. I'm just thinking, is Inverness, is that like
Yes.
an Inver like a Celtic, or Iver, I think, is like a Celtic word for like inlet. Is that right?
Well, that makes sense then. It's the inlet of the
Ness,
Loch
yeah.
of Ness.
I'm speculating there based on a couple of signs I've seen in the south that are written in Irish. We should have those everywhere, but anyway, I'm only joking. I'm being serious though as well. But
Yeah.
anyway, whichever you prefer. So
You don't speak it, but
all I know, speak.
fuck
I
off.
can count to like 4. Anyway,
Yeah.
right. I can say this. Do you know what I
Four-ish,
can do? I can give you most of the Hail Mary in it.
Please don't.
I won't. But anyway, I was so tempted to start it there, but I won't. But anyway, what I know about this is very little. I know,
Same.
and I've seen the photo that some people say. I've seen that.
The famous photo, as in with the two
The
humps,
humps
coming out of the water.
and looks like a neck type thing. Is
Yeah,
it?
we'll talk
And
about that. But actually, bring that up now, Dan, and then later we'll come back.
I
to
know
that.
the Ted Danson of I've seen that.
Yeah.
I know the Ted Danson of Cheers fame and Saving Private Ryan fame. That he was in a movie in like '96.
You seen it?
This. I think I saw the movie at the time. Yeah.
Do you remember it being particularly awful or anything?
I don't remember it being real.
Oh no!
Jolie Richardson, unreal.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at his mop. Like that's. I remember this basically being like a shit Free Willy.
Right. He went to find the beast. He found love.
So I've seen that. I know there's a great shot in the movie where he's like looking out of a window and then goes, and that's when he sees it. Like,
When he sees it.
I like that. And other than that, just the general legend of there's a big fucking underwater dinosaur lives in the loch.
Maybe not just underwater, which we'll talk about.
Massive.
Can you tell me about?
It looks
look at
gorgeous.
that. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Highlands are. Do you know what? When I think of the Highlands, you know what I think of? Not the Loch Ness Monster.
Braveheart.
So, friend of tea with me, Foy Vance, lives, enemy of yours, after you slagged him. He's going to smack you.
I would love
call him
him.
out.
Foy, if you're watching, please come on, no blasters. We'll crush the beef. I'll play one of your songs for you on the guitar.
Oh, he would hate that.
Give you a few ideas.
I have an idea. I have an idea.
I would
He
love
won't
it
do
if you came on for real.
So I'd love if he came off for real. He lives, I think, near somewhere around the Highlands,
Right.
and has done like quite a few of his songs, like acoustic versions of them,
Right.
from the Highlands, like a
Right.
wee YouTube series of videos he's done, and they're beautiful, just like at the side of a road. Beautiful. Makes me want to go to the Highlands. I haven't really been to the Highlands much. I've driven through it to shoot a video for the Northern Ireland Football Association once with Liam Boyce. That's about it. So, and it was snowing.
My knowledge of the Highlands are confined to two things, which is the scene in Braveheart where he's like running over mountains quite needlessly as well, with bagpipe music playing and some guy going like, he's 8 feet tall, and
Yes.
he sounds more Irish than Scottish, and then the Highland toffee.
Right. Oh, aye, that
them?
was popular for a while. We hurry cow on
We
it.
carry on it. Oh, mate, we thin
square
plastic
packaging. Aye, white.
wrapper,
Yep.
white, and then tartan at the ends,
Oh, aye.
stuck to the toffee. Absolutely rip the teeth out of your head.
Oh,
but
aye.
here, worth it.
Oh, aye.
Worth it.
Toffee's not really popular anymore. Is it? Not really.
Thornton's is gone. Do you remember Special Toffee from Thornton's? That was a fucking great.
Do you know what? Also, do you know what? If toffee's died out, do you know what's coming next? Fudge.
Oh, but
Fudge
here,
has
there's
had its day, like.
there's so many what
Sugar
I would
tax, mate.
describe as artisanal fudge places. Have you ever been there? There's two of them within a fudge throw of each other.
Of where? In where?
In Edinburgh.
The Fudge House.
There's Fudge House and Fudge Kitchen.
You look like a man who'd always have a toffee hammer on.
Yeah, it's like you test my reflexes to see how quickly I can get to the toffee
Right. Let's stay on.
on the dinosaur in the lake.
on the dinosaur in the lake, right? So, this whole
I've just seen the name of one of these photos. I'm shitting myself.
the first
Top
sighting.
one.
Oh yeah, a necromancer.
Yeah, creepy guy. I don't even know what his name's doing connected with.
He also gets absolutely mugged. Anyway, let's go from the
He's
start.
also connected to the following episode.
Okay, great. We love that. Depending on what order the episodes come out on, you've just given Dan a heart attack. So, the first sighting of this creature or this idea that there is this monster that lives in Loch Ness comes in the middle of the 5th century, 6th century, St. Columba.
Irish guy.
Yeah. Now, what I like about him is all these saints of his kind of ilk, right? Like St. Columbanus and stuff. They go on these pilgrimages. They go on these.
Play a wee bit over in Scotland, then come back.
Yeah, but they do this thing where
Finish
like they're
up
in
in
exile. St. Patrick as well.
Right.
They love an exile. You know, it gives them their sort of backstory.
It's part of their like authenticity.
Yes.
Oh, I'll try to teach them stuff. They'll fuck me out and then they'll want me back.
St. Columba just goes from Ireland over to Scotland. Bit of a quick one on the Sten line. Like. They're back, real and seal.
Sea cat.
Yeah. It would have been sea cat back then. So he goes over to Scotland, and basically one side of Loch Ness is you can traverse it kind of like even back then there would have been like a way to navigate that path, but the other
You
side
just walk like through it, like it's like shallow.
no, I mean like a path on one side of it.
Oh, right,
the
okay.
land on one side of it, the terrain, you can pass
okay.
through it.
It's like gently rolling hills down to, I think it's the west side is more easy accessible.
Right, okay.
The other side, nightmare.
Right, okay.
Basically, like you can't pass it. Rugged cliffs,
Right, okay.
dense kind of forest that you can't go down. So, what happens is St. Columba, who by the way, I'm not going into this guy too much, but ruffles a few feathers. When he's over there, he's like he's ruffling feathers. This guy
Walking around a Celtic shirt.
yeah, he gets into arguments, and anyway, he's actually an interesting character. But we'll go quickly through his story. One time when he's there,
Gets into arguments is funny.
he does.
That's on CV.
He's a bitch, right? He's a bitch. Anyway, he's on the bank of Loch Ness.
He's a bitch.
He's a HAB, historical annoying bitch. He's on the banks of Loch Ness, and there's men pulling a guy from the water. They're burying a man.
Oh, right.
They're burying a guy. And St. Columba says, "What's going on here? What's the crack with this?" Now they don't get that phrase. What's the crack? So they go, "The what? What do you mean?" And he goes, "Oh, sorry, it's a local phrase." He goes, "What's the situation here?" They say, "We're burying this guy." He said, "What happened to him?" They say, "He has been eaten by like a savage monster from the loch." So St. Columba goes, "You've got my interest."
Sounds like he stumbled across a gangland hit.
Yeah,
And was very gullible.
Yeah,
HGB, historical gullible bastard. Yeah.
hat HAT historical aquatic hit. Can I tell you something? The joy of having kids. I had half an hour sleep last night.
Oh my god.
Half an hour, and that half an hour was watching Peppa Pig.
That's grim, like.
Also, not hat.
Yeah, Yep.
All right. Fuck you guys. Right? Now,
So
Daddy needs to sleep. He's got to do an episode of Loch Ness tomorrow.
so Columbanus, they
Get
have
a real job, Daddy, so I can
Columba.
respect you when I grow up.
So St. Columba, they have his interest.
They have his interest.
Right.
Now, St. Columba, like, I think Saints back then, well, obviously wasn't Saint then, but
Yeah.
these guys, they like to be involved in stories. Anything happening, they're in the middle of it. So he goes, "Listen, we're getting on a boat right now, and we're going out to find this monster." He says to this wee guy, he goes, "Bring that boat, swim out, bring that boat over, and we'll go and find it." The guy's like, "No worries."
That's massive.
Guy gets absolutely mugged. As he's swimming out to the boat, get him. They get him. Eat him up.
The monster eats the guy
eats him up.
swimming out to the boat.
He goes, "It's eating me and all." Gets pulled down below the surface. Right?
That's massive.
Yep. St.
Did
Columba.
your ma or dad ever tell you that weeds would pull you underwater?
No.
Don't
Just said it would be a
don't-
gateway to harder drugs.
Our ones used to. A couple of things my mum made me scared off that I thought were gonna be a bigger deal in my life would have been like weeds in water and reeds.
Oh, reeds are more dangerous than weeds.
You know, because they pull. She would go, they pull you down. Instead of saying some people get tangled in those and die, she was like, they pull you down. So I was like, they must be alive then.
I was sort of quicksand until I was about 17.
And quicksand was another one that I was like, sure. And I've only stepped on something. I'm not saying it was quicksand, but there's a video of me. There's a video of me doing star steps for a joke on a beach down south. But whenever we walked further out, the ground literally did start to really give in a way where the two of us looked at each other and went, fuck us, and walked back in, like, because it was actually weird.
Yeah, that's not that.
It wasn't quicksand.
That's not life-threatening when you're both able to go, shall we walk away from this?
No, but I feel like if we'd taken another couple of steps out, it would have been. I'm being serious. Wasn't that so?
Oh, man.
Look
Hey,
at
Kieran,
Tony's wee
did it
face.
put things into perspective? Sitting there, you sit looking out a window at a river for 10 hours after.
Sitting there going, hello, is this estate planning? I better get my will underway here.
I thought you meant like the people of the nearby area, like the council. Estate plan? Are you planning? You know what I mean? So you're like,
No, like
you need to move to
you
this
make
beach.
plans for what happens with your estate after you die. Yeah.
Leave it to me. Be serious.
I would leave my clothes to you because I'm sure you'd make good use of them, and I want to leave Kev like my Die Hard DVD and a couple of things. He's not allowed The Rock. Do you know what I would do? I would give every DVD to Kev except for The Rock.
Right.
Because he took my copy of The Rock and kept it on me for about 5 years, claimed that he never had it, and then eventually claimed that he lost it.
Yeah.
And then I went into his house one day and I was fucking sitting there.
What a cunt.
Yeah, isn't he? Isn't he? Unacceptable bastard, Kev.
So St. Columba, right?
This is mental. This guy swims out and gets eaten.
Yeah, swims out and gets eaten. So St. Columba's like becomes like a bit obsessed with the idea that
There was a thing that you said there that interested me about like saints and stuff at this time, like to get involved in adventures and stories. Do you think that I'm trying to think of a modern example of this, but do you think that's because they know that's a way that you become a saint? There's a thing called hagiography, which is
Absolutely.
the writing of lives of saints. And if it's not a good story, you're probably not going up the old pecking order in the
Exactly.
commissioning of saints.
That's what I say. As soon as he hears the idea of a monster
beatification.
being in this loch, he's like, get a boat and let's drive to it.
They need some content for their social media to really
Yeah.
get their
Yeah,
profile up.
yeah.
Do you know, so it's sort of like, you know,
Like us.
it's like the Owen Hargreaves training video.
Yeah.
He knows if people see him training, there's a chance he gets a contract.
And he goes to City.
Yeah. Do you
Doesn't
know what
play
I mean?
much, but scores one wonder goal.
Yeah. I loved him at United,
I would say
2008.
as well that it's a little bit more myth. The lives of saints, we find with so much of this, all these stories follow like a formula. These characters, whether it's like a military leader or a saint or someone like that, they have to follow this formula of a story. So maybe this was just like put in.
Yeah,
to
because
the
like
story, you know?
lives of saints are sometimes quite funny, and you go, did he? Aye. So
Yeah.
like, there's a good one. I think it's St. Lawrence is supposed to have been getting fucking burned, like they're roasting him alive, like, and he's
What,
met- he's
like famous comedians of the day?
This is Billy Connolly of Antioch. He's coming in to fucking slag you off.
St. Colin Bannis is here. Oh, no, he's not. He's way to fucking South Africa again, or whatever it is.
So like he's meant to have been getting fucking he's meant to have been getting roasted up one side, and is then meant to have done banter with the guys roasting him, been like, turn me over, I'm done on this side. And I'm like, do you want me rare, do you? You know what I mean?
Dan, the end of sort of St. Columba in this, that's just it, really, isn't it?
Well, the guy swims out to get the boat, and as he's coming back, gets attacked.
Yes.
And what does St. Columba then do? He strides out into the water and makes a sign of the cross.
Oh,
Yes.
And
massive.
And people that were witnessing it say it acted like the beast was like pulled down on strings. You know what I mean?
Massive.
They said, "What? Do you know what? You're right. What happened was, all the people nearby went, "There's the beast. There's the beast." Said, "St. Columba, show him your cross." And he said, "Fuck off, you."
The sign of the cross. Yeah.
So nothing really happens here for a long time with this story until we come to the 1500s.
That's
We're gonna talk about,
that's a
General
1,000
Wade.
years.
Oh, okay.
That's 1,000 years with no story there. Like,
Might even be after that.
that's a gap. Like,
Yeah. This is the first reference of it, and then we're gonna jump way forward.
of a monster in a loch. I'm surprised a monster could live in a loch in Scotland for that long, because at this time they wouldn't have had toilets, so they'd just be pissing all the iron brew straight into the fucking
Yep.
into the loch. Like, you know what I mean?
Imagine Iron Brew was just like Scottish government behind it. It's just
An ancient
Loch Ness
drink.
Monster's piss.
It tastes like pish. I don't like it. Do you like
I
it?
like it.
Do you know what-
I can't say it. Do you know who?
I like
Fri-
Orange Tango. They still sell that over there a lot. I
My
like
friend
that.
Christopher MacArthur Boyd, 4 or 5 cans a day.
Of Iron Brew.
Guy lives on it. Like,
Jesus.
Patriot.
Funny guy.
Early 18th century.
Early 18th century, General Wade. Right, so
Over 1,000 years, by the way. No, not a peep out of the loch.
Scotland and England have unified. We're going to pick it up with this.
The trouble with Scotland is that it's full of Scots. Who is this man who says this to me? What is it? What is it he says? He goes, who is this man who gives me advice? As if I asked him for it.
Do you know what sometimes you're like?
And
A tennis player who's playing, but at the net there's like a giant wall, and he hits it back to himself. You're doing a dialogue, and then you go, "What does he say? What does he say?" And then you do it. Like, I don't think.
Like Gump.
I don't
Like
think.
Forrest Gump, two-handed table tennis to himself.
I don't think you knew you were you there. Like, do you know what I think you are? I think you have 2 personalities. You're Kieran and our Kieran. And Kieran and our Kieran talk back to each other.
Oh, that's fucking sensational.
What does he say? What does he say? Let me tell you now, our Kieran. So, General Wade. So this guy, I'm going to assume bit of a cock. I'm basing that on nothing. But we've got like the Jacobites wouldn't have liked them.
Right.
Right? Because what he's doing is he's basically coming into Scotland. He's the road guy.
Who's this? Sorry.
Military road guy, General Wade.
Right.
He's an MRG, and that's the first one I've done of those right today. He's a military road guy.
Right.
Right? He's the original roadman.
Is he actually making roads? Is that his job?
That's his job.
Yeah, he's in the army, but part of
Military
this, he
engineering,
gets sent to Scotland, and part of it is he ends up making a road.
Right. Okay.
So what he's saying is, no roads here, boys. I'm going to bring some roads in so we can travel across Scotland easier, so we can get from Scotland to England, all that kind of thing.
Still haven't built a fucking McDonald's on that road. Go ahead.
We will. Someday we
Yeah.
will. Right?
See, could you imagine if we both owned the McDonald's?
I would
McBanter. That's
love
what that is.
I would love that.
Wouldn't it?
It's only $1 million, isn't it? Maybe we need a
Oh.
third person to come in with us.
Yeah. Who can we,
Who's a millionaire?
I know. Yeah. Who can you trust though? Do you know what I mean? Who's got that kind of money that you can trust?
So General Wade is beating about Scotland. Wouldn't have been necessarily liked in Scotland.
Right.
Because what he's doing is he's just clearing places, mate, getting
Right.
these roads in. And part of what he's doing is he's looking for a way to go. He's in Newcastle, and he needs to get to somewhere. And what he does is he goes, fuck me, I got to go all the way back to here to go to there. Right?
This sounds like my tour route last year. Somehow started in Newcastle and then doubled
Yeah.
back to Glasgow, then to London, then Liverpool.
So one thing he does is he builds a road along Loch Ness. But-
Yeah, the east side.
Along the fucking inaccessible side?
Yeah.
Massive.
But do you know what he does for one of these roads? Do you know why Hadrian's Wall is like ruined? Most of it.
Because of this cunt?
There's no stone available.
Because he went,
He
goes,
took the stone that Hadrian used.
he says, I need a road here, boys. They say, when do you need it for? You know what he said? Yesterday. He goes, get that fucking wall down.
When do you need it for? Yesterday.
He goes, get Hadrian's Wall down. And they just go, all right, well.
See
just
that
put
type of
down.
shit? See people, it's like a kid who fucking chopped down the tree at Hadrian's Wall this year, or fucking end of 23. You're like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know the tree that's in the scene in Robin Hood, Prince of
Yeah.
Thieves? What the fuck are you doing, dude?
What did he chop it down for? Just stop oil or
Because
something?
you wee dick.
Right.
See, Hadrian's Wall's interesting because that was Scotland and Ireland were basically two places that the Romans came to and went, keep it, lads.
Right, yeah.
It's too cold. And so they built the wall as a frontier.
We're good with that. Leave
Yeah.
that.
Everything on the other side of this wall, don't want it.
Right.
But there's some interesting shit found around there, like loads of stuff to do with like literacy records in the Roman army and all. They found at Hadrian's Wall records from another place called Vindolanda. Good knowledge.
Na.
Me and my mum and my dad and my gran were off to Hadrian's Wall. Anyway.
Yous would have and done some grave robbing
Oh,
shit.
Unbelievable.
The Bartlett's on the sea cat. What would you be getting up to over there? You going to M&D's Fun Park? Nah, grave robbing. All right, guys, I think that's us. You getting out here? We're not there yet. Nah, we're good. We'll jump. Right.
Oh, bro.
So, so yes, he builds a road on the untraversable side of
Right.
of Loch Ness. We're going to talk about the first bridge me here, Dan.
Did he see the monster when he was there? Weird. He's
No,
just
I
built the road around
think
it?
I think building the road just leads to a lot more activity around the loch, which
Right,
then
so that
allows-
leads to sightings and
allows
shit.
people to really investigate the monster.
Right.
Just means like this, especially first of all, this like opens the Highlands up kind of for more travel. These roads, it was like no one was going. It wasn't like you just went there, right? So we jump way ahead to this guy Spicer in 1930s.
1933.
Yeah,
I like his name though.
There's a man
I
called-
like his name, but I also like General Wade's name because it's like he just generally wades.
well that's he
You
probably
know?
said that. He probably
Yeah.
goes.
Doing a wee General Wade in the Highlands.
Could I have been called anything else?
I don't know. Colonel Dander.
Colonel Danders. So, right, we're going to talk about the first kind of sighting of in modern times of the Loch Ness Monster. Was what did you say, Dan? 1930
I think it was 32, but published in 33.
by George Spicer, who was. Now this isn't just a lot of these sightings. It's just it's like a glue head.
Yep.
I saw a UFO. Right. This guy was English and was on holiday with his wife, and they were traveling. Now in 1930s, the reason a lot of the sightings and happen around this time is people have cars.
Right. Okay.
So for the first time, people are driving through the Highlands, and there's more activity around Loch Ness. So this guy and his wife claim to have seen the Loch Ness Monster, but the interesting thing is, the way he describes it, it's out of the water. It crosses the road in front of them. Right.
That's massive from Spicer.
Yeah.
Could he have had a worse name as well? Who's going to trust a guy called Spicer?
But the interesting thing with
Was he
him is,
taking a wee bag of spice?
as I say, he's not a randomer. He's not a drunkard, right? He owns a West End Tailors in London, so he's a
Respectable guy.
respectable and reputable guy.
Mm.
And he says that it crossed in front of him. And Dan, does he mention like flippers and feet?
There's different people who've reported different things. Some people that there were feet, some people that it had flippers.
So he talks about the size of it. He says the one thing that kind of undermines him a bit is, and should have maybe sent alarm bells off. He goes, it's something like not quoting him properly here, but he's like, closest I've ever seen to anything like a dragon, and people are pointing out, you haven't seen a dragon, mate.
I know, yeah.
So what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But I think he's basically saying in the depictions of
It's like saying a
dragons-
horse is the closest thing you've seen to a unicorn.
Yeah, I think he's basically saying this is in the depictions of what dragons look like. This is it. So this starts the whole thing of like the Loch Ness Monster. We're starting to get an idea of the shape of it and that kind of thing.
I have two questions, right?
Yep.
One of them is, if you hadn't seen a zebra before,
Yeah.
and somebody said, I saw a white and black striped horse that like looks a wee bit more unicorny, wouldn't you
More
sort of
donkey
go,
than horse.
wouldn't you go, you're mental?
Yeah.
And then like, so there is that sort of element where you go, or if somebody said, tried to describe a hippo to you without you having seen one,
Yes.
you would also think they were mental. Then
That's very interesting that you bring up hippos.
So that
We'll
makes
come back
me
into the story.
that makes me go, maybe there is something. Then I would like to know, did Spicer or anyone that's into this have any sort of link to the Loch Ness area as like
No.
touristy type? You know, let's get an industry going.
No.
You know,
he
like
was
'cause
visiting.
Because
He-
do you
he's-
ever see like around Knock, the whole thing you hear about like the sighting of the Virgin Mary at Knock, and there's like a whole tourist industry around it now.
Yo, yeah.
There's an airport there now. There's a
Right.
Christy Moore song about it. That's how you know it's famous.
What am I missing here on Spicer?
No,
Because
I
I'm
think
going to
it's-
talk about the water bailiff.
Okay.
So there's a water bailiff who operate. So the
What's
lock
that?
then around that time also the roads are opening up, but so's the lock for like, for boats and things like
Right.
that. So oh yeah, one thing I hope I'm not getting two accounts confused, but Spicer's wife says that when the Loch Ness Monster, went back into the water, it caused like a big wave. This might be cross contaminated with someone else's account, but it doesn't matter. Someone who gave an account of it said that when the monster went back into the water, it caused like a wave that would be similar to like a steamer, you know, like a steamboat coming
Oh,
down.
right, okay.
I think other people just pointed out it's probably a steamboat coming down. But
When the fish walked out of the ocean, something like that.
what a
Yeah.
Sam
Oh,
Sparrow!
great.
Woo, that was a great song.
Oh.
Great black and
That
gold.
didn't
That's
sound
a
anything
great
like it to
song.
be fair, but yeah, it's brilliant.
So, yeah, so this starts. Then there's a guy. There's like a water bailiff guy.
What's that? Like a
I think he's a bailiff that operates on the water. I think
right.
he uses a boat and he travels down.
right.
You know, different villages and all. I think that's how he operates.
Right,
I got that
okay.
totally wrong. But he is the first person who he describes it like a plesiosaur. Plesiosaur. He describes seeing the monster. And
Is that like a
compare-
type of dinosaur?
Yeah, with the big long neck.
Mad.
He's like, you know, it has this big long neck like an elephant's trunk.
What do you call them ones that stand and eat the fucking
Plesiosaur.
not steak
See-
bronchosaurus? Yeah.
We'll see what you're talking about.
Brachiosaurus.
They're herbivores. So I think it's a plesiosaur. I'm going to get killed in the comments for this.
Don't let them do that.
The type of
It's a
dino-
comedy podcast. Go ahead.
the type of dinosaur that they're talking about would be a herbivore. So that starts to go against Columbus' account of
Eating
this monster
men.
eating people and all this kind of stuff.
But here, so I always wonder about herbivores. Sometimes you're bound to try a dude, right? And then realize it's not for you,
Yeah.
and then go back to just eating bush.
Patting the head of an epilepsy boy there.
If I'm
For some
away through-
HSP, historical
if
sex
I'm
banter.
away through that banter,
Love that.
HSP. Yeah.
Love that. So yeah, we're just talking about a lot of sightings. And sorry, Dan?
No.
Okay.
Like maybe it was St. Columba who had the guy. You know what I mean? He's,
On land.
He's under there with a wee fin strapped to his
Yeah.
back going, oh, I'm a monster.
So at this point, we start to get some like some press interest, and the first newspaper to really go Loch Ness Monster mad are the Daily Mail.
Right, okay.
The Daily Mail love it, right? They're like, oh, let's run this story, and I
Tell you
think-
what they don't like, immigrants. They were probably trying to. They were probably trying.
Where's Nessie trying to get to?
Yeah, they're probably trying to get Nessie deported to Rwanda. Yeah.
Nessie's a health tourist,
Yeah.
right? Trying to get the big humps fixed. So the Daily Mail really kind of pick up on this and starts to become a real thing. They send this guy. They go, we need a guy for this, right? We need a guy to go and find proof of the Loch Ness Monster.
The guy at the top of this
and
list.
bring it. And it's only, get ready for this name, Marmaduke Wetherall.
Oh no, it's a different guy.
Now, the great thing about this guy is Marmaduke Wetherall. He is an actor who has played discoverers before. He played, was it Christopher Columbus? Am I wrong?
Livingston.
Robinson Crusoe.
It says there he played Livingston.
And Livingston
who's
as well.
One of the guys that went all through like Africa and all.
So he's played. Now, the great thing is, this guy's played Robinson Crusoe. He's played Livingston, right? But he has written, financed, and directed and starred in those movies himself. So he's a guy who desperately wants to be
an explorer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's writing himself into movies where he is that, and now he thinks he is that.
Oh, I love it. This,
So
this would be like Harrison Ford becoming an actual whip cracking explorer.
It's like someone killing Chloe and you getting
I don't like that.
but you getting Keanu Reeves to go and.
Why doesn't somebody kill your family?
I just realized the assassins don't kill Keanu Reeves' wife in the movie. It's like you having a dog, and someone kills it, and then Keanu Reeves gets redemption for it. You know, you wouldn't go straight to Keanu
No,
Reeves.
it sounds like you're. It sounds like you just want to say hurtful things about my family. Shane. That's,
No, you have a dog. You
no,
like
I have
you
a
hate
Chloe.
dogs. Right. Forget Chloe. Forget Chloe.
Right.
You have a dog.
Never.
You have a that's a spirit. You have a dog.
Right. I have a dog. Somebody kills the dog.
Yes. Who would you get in touch with?
Keanu Reeves.
Well, that undermines the point. Then maybe you would. Maybe you would.
No,
get
I know what
Marmaduke
you mean.
Wetherall.
Yeah, but it's like getting a. I like the idea that he's become. He's become a character of himself.
Exactly. He goes, "I'm the guy to do this," and
Yeah.
they went, "No, we don't want to make a movie about it. We want to find it." He goes, "I'm really that guy." It's like Ross Kemp in Extras, thinking he's in the SAS.
Look at what his African name is.
What?
Hantapania, a sort of portmanteau word meaning he who hits seldom, but when he does, he hits mighty hard. That's a great name.
Yeah,
No?
it's a wee bit like it's like Daniel Day-Lewis. He doesn't do that many movies.
Yeah.
But when he does, they're belters.
Yeah, or like, I don't always get a Chinese, but when I do, I'm getting two mains.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Chow. So Marmaduke Wetherall goes like, "Listen, I'm the guy to sort
Marmaduke?
this." Now he gets himself up to Loch Ness, and he is desperate to find it. And
Isn't that what Bear Grylls has a kid called Marmaduke, I think?
well,
I think.
can I tell you something?
Yeah.
He found, you're not gonna believe this, on the more treacherous side of Loch Ness, he finds footprints, big holes with like huge, like 8-inch claw marks in
Wow.
them. That's amazing,
Right?
right? People can't believe this. They're photographed and all that. They send it to the National History Museum.
The casts of it or something?
They bring in some experts to go, "Listen, verify that this is the Loch Ness Monster for us." You know what the museum say? Here's the thing though. There's only one print.
Oh, that's fucking stupid.
What
They're
they
going to plant it.
what they had done is that comes a little bit later, but what they had done is they don't know whether it was him or someone had done this knowing he was in the nearby area. It
Right.
was the reason you bring up hippopotamus, coincidentally, it was a hippopotamus foot
Right.
print, and what that had repeatedly been put into like mud or soil or
Right,
something.
okay.
So what they think had happened is, like back then when people hunted hippopotamus, like in Africa or whatever, and brought back
Hippopotami?
hippopotami.
Hippopotamuses. Did you ever hear that song?
No.
I want a
I don't wish to.
hippopotamus for Christmas. Only hippopotamus.
Someone had got they used at times hippopotamus legs hollowed out as umbrella stands. So someone had brought that
Tasteless.
over, repeatedly put it in the mud, went, "Look at this." Didn't think to fucking put a second one in
know,
or
yeah.
more prints. So I think if it's a National History Museum, it probably isn't. But the experts that had to verify it were like, "Looks good, but here's the thing: there's only one, and that's from an umbrella stand."
Yeah.
He's fuming about this because
Makes him look like a dick.
it
like.
makes him look like an idiot. And the Daily Mail, who were like, "This is the guy. He's going to discover the Loch Ness Monster," because they turn on him. They basically
Well, it
put
wouldn't be like a Daily Mail to.
they put a front page of him up the next day, and they're like, "Marmaduke Wetherall, wanker and all." You know what I mean? So he by the way, he then develops a real grudge against the Daily Mail. Keep that in mind.
Right. I can identify with that.
Let's talk about some more sightings. So you've got like and again, these aren't just regular people. These are people that if you looked at their sort of statue, you go, oh, why would they like a veterinary student who's on a motorbike? Again, says that they see the Loch Ness Monster on the road.
Right.
Which is weird because there's that all just stops like around this time. Like anyone who sees it in more recent times never sees it on the road.
Yeah.
Right? So,
And what's the crack? Like, see that picture there? When's that from?
well, go ahead, Dan.
I think that's 32, 33. So this is around the time that Marmaduke is
Right, okay.
there.
Yeah. Now, I'll fast forward slightly, then come back. This picture, the Daily Mail gets sent this picture by a surgeon called Robert Wilson. Now, who was there, sort of visiting and looking for the Loch Ness Monster. I think he's a gynecologist. Now, this guy, to set up his background, fought in World War One. Like what?
It's just funny. He's a gynecologist.
Military background, decorated soldier, comes from a really good family when he comes back.
Military background around this time. And then he's a gynecologist, so he's just spent his whole life in one trench or another. Like,
Pat the head of the Nepalese soy boy.
oh, unbelievable.
So that's great, Kieran. He comes back, he sets up this practice, he's there, he gets this photograph. Now, when he sends this to the press, this photograph, the first thing they do is they trim that photograph. So they trim around the edges of it. So that's not the actual photograph. It's a bigger photograph that they've cropped. But the thing that when this came out, they were basically going like, we got this photograph. It's from a surgeon who doesn't want to be named. So that gave it so much cachet that like...
To be fair, it's a fairly convincing photo. What's cropped
great.
out though?
The original photo is like super blurred.
Yes,
and
right.
Much bigger, and you can barely make out what actually is on it.
So this kind of photograph starts the mania around it,
Right.
Because you're coming out of after this like the Great Depression, World War One. People want to. I think as well there was a sense that like what we have today, like people think the world's becoming so much smaller. That when and it's been grim for a long time, and a story like
you
this
want
comes
something
up,
exciting and nice, like wholesome.
there could be these beasts that and as well there'd been off the coast of South Africa there'd been this species of fish discovered that people thought had been extinct for like hundreds of millions of years, but were from from dinosaur times.
Right. Okay.
So people are like, this is only the start of it. We're the world. This is the world's this magical kind of place. So people really wanted to believe in this, and it was going all around the world. Like people were well into this.
Yeah.
And
It's
also
also at the time of other sort of mystical beasts being seen. So like the Yeti and Bigfoot
Yes.
start to appear at this time. So people are like, Africa's sort of being explored, and there's
Right,
less people like Marmaduke want to be those explorers and discover stuff, but there
Right.
seems like there's less to
Now,
find.
an interesting thing, if we're using this as like the archetypal picture, this is the famous movie that comes out at the start of the 1930s, I think, is King Kong.
Right.
And in that movie, they go through a place they go through here. Is it actually Loch Ness that they pass as part of the movie, or it's another body of water, but there's a creature that looks exactly like this, that
It is
like
the plesiosaurus type.
plesiosaur. That's right. So, but then everyone who sees it in like the year after the Loch Ness Monster, in the year after, describes the beast from that movie
Right.
pretty much identically.
Right.
So that, when we look back on it now, totally devalues all of it, because people are like, oh yeah, it was like the thing from the movie. That was what I saw.
Yeah.
Right. So
That picture's pretty.
do you want me to
That's
break-
interesting.
Do you want me to break your heart about that picture?
Is it something shit in the water? Is it just like a pipe or something?
It was a kid's submarine
Devastating.
with like wooden attachments put onto it, and it was staged, and it was fake, and it was a friend of Wilson, the guy who took the picture, that took it. And do you know who set it up with him?
See if you say Marmaduke.
Marmaduke Weatherall. He's absolutely mugged people. Now, he did that.
Sticky bastard marmalade. Oh,
He did
my
that.
God. Oh,
Speaking of marmalade, I forgot to tell you.
what a delicious treat it is.
Marmalade's coming back into this story. 10 out of 10 from me to do that, by the way. 10 out of 10 to do that, and I've forgotten if you hadn't mentioned it. Everything happens for a reason. Butterfly effect, Mandela effect. Anyway, slept for half an hour last night. Anyway, the good thing about that is I was watching the Wiggles for the half an hour, so that was great. That's all those songs going over. Irish stew, oh Irish stew, stick it in the pot and it's good for you. Now, the thing is, Marmaduke Weatherall set that up thinking, yeah, flash a light of space, I don't give a fuck.
I can't believe he set up. Can I be serious?
Yeah.
I've seen that photo before.
Yep.
And I've always gone, that's quite something.
That's proof.
I've never known that was fake.
Do you want to know when it was announced that it was fake? Do you know the story behind this?
No.
It was Marmaduke, I think, was it a nephew, and in 1994.
Oh, wow.
So like 60 years afterwards,
Right,
he came out and explained it.
That's very sad.
but
Probably
what-
ruined the Ted Danson movie as well.
Well, what he wanted to do was, really make fools out of the Daily Mail, who had kind of turned on him.
Yeah.
But he just sent publication sales through the roof. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, I'll show you guys, and they're like, oh yeah, keep showing us, counting those dollar
Yeah.
bills. You know.
What do you call it? Wanker that owns the Daily Mail? Lord.
I don't know.
Oh,
Begins
begins with R. It's not Rutherford. It's something like that
but
though.
there's a
Just can't remember it.
Rothmere.
Rothmere, you can't. Anyway.
Dan,
right.
I'll need some names. I know Scott was the guy, but who was it? That's a weird sentence. Was Scott backed by the Marmalade heir?
Oh, so it's Peter Scott, who is is it a son of Scott of the
Antarctic.
So real explorer. See, they're real explorers.
So we have so this is really.
Do you know how you know you're a real explorer?
So Scott
Frozen on the job, like.
Scott of Antarctic is this famous adventurer. Documented so well. People love him.
Beans still in the can.
His son, who's 2 when he dies, when Scott of Antarctic died, apparently wrote this thing saying make sure that Peter has a love of the natural world.
Can I just say as well, sorry, I went for a walk last night in the fog and we've both basically got bronchitis now.
I love that you're comparing Scott of Antarctic.
No, I'm saying I could I'm not. I'm saying I could
you
never,
walking around Botanic Gardens.
I'm not. I'm saying I could never be.
Go away.
I'm just saying, just in case there's any confusion,
Can of beans.
I could never be an explorer like Scott. Just in
thanks for
case
clearing that
anybody
up.
was going, why don't you do this, Kieran? I went for a walk in the fog last night and now I have pleurisy, so I can't. I'm going to be in a wee bath chair like a sick Victorian child for the next 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? I need a drier climate, mummy.
So Dan, is Scott backed by the heir to Dundee Marmalade?
There's some link. I can't
That's
remember
it.
what it was.
That's it. That's
a big
literally
marmalade
it.
company.
Dundee Marmalade.
Marmalade v Marmaduke.
Or the Marmalade of the time.
Right.
And also the lead singer of Biffy Clyro had a side project called Marmaduke something.
Yeah.
Just Scottish Marmaduke links.
Right.
I see.
And
everyone.
then Links Africa in Scotland.
Whoa.
Getting in your lungs. Get you high.
So yeah.
Highlands.
So Peter Scott wants to be obviously this adventurer like his dad, and he's respected. He's also a conservationist, friendly with the young Attenborough.
I thought you just said he's a cunt.
He's
Right.
he's mates with Davy Attenborough and all these boys, and he's starting to forge his own name. Right, he's got a
Yeah.
good reputation. He really gets into the idea of this, and he wants to do something like his dad, be known. Right, with something to do with nature and science. So he's basically going, I'm going to find the Loch Ness. He gets really into the idea of it. I'm going to find the Loch Ness Monster. Dan, what year roughly is this, or when are we talking?
Maybe
50s.
I think.
Yeah, if Attenborough was kicking about
there's not.
as an adult.
Peter Scott, I think, helped create, was it the WWF and stuff like that? So
Big wrestling guy.
Because he was thinking, fighting's good, but for kids, we
Yeah.
need something else.
Yeah.
He sets up World Wildlife Fund, but his whole reputation kind of gets tainted a lot by this quest because
Because people are going, did you buy into this shit?
he's going, I'm going to find it, and then he gets in touch with the biggest museums in the UK, and he's going give me some funding. Let's find the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
And they're like, we need bones, we need a sample, we need something.
but I'm not sure he really believes in it, but he uses it as a project to bring attention to conservationism and bring money into conservationism,
Right.
so he gets more attention towards what he actually really wants to do.
They
rather
want to.
than-
They want to prove if Loch Ness Monster exists, that there's these creatures that we had thought were extinct.
Do you know
that
what,
are
though? You
still
do
there.
lose authenticity. It's like a lot of bands about 20 years ago were screaming in their music so that they would become part of like a wave of music like that. And then once they get in there and get a fan base, the next couple of albums are all, hey. And it's just because they didn't really want to be screaming. They just did it to get somewhere. So it's like he's just going after Loch Ness to
Yeah.
get
He
to save other trees.
He gets in touch with Attenborough and he goes, "You fancy coming in on this?"
I'm mainly talking about Avenged Sevenfold there. Sorry. And Trivium.
He gets in touch with David Attenborough. He's like, "You coming in on this?" Attenborough says, "Listen to this," for like trying to be nice, but like also a bit sly. He goes, "You're very courageous."
Say that like Attenborough, though. You're very courageous.
Very courageous. I was like,
It was alright.
That was Richard Harrison, Gladiator.
Oh, yeah, it was a wee bit more Harris.
What
Go on! Go ahead.
were you gonna say?
No, I think you're all good.
But yeah,
Bring an old man.
the
Have a blanket.
I didn't even know that movie came out that you were talking about.
Gladiator? Oh, Loch Ness.
I know, I knew
Loch
Gladiator.
Ness.
Like what?
Loch Ness?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was, do you know, it was biggish. It wasn't as big as something like Free Willy, obviously, but it was in that same kid believes, dad goes and helps and all that. And it was sort of, I remember when it debuted on Sky, I remember it being like it's the premiere this week. I remember
People
sitting
still-
down to watch it.
I mean, even now, people still report sightings of it, and
There's a guy who like just stays the whole time at Loch Ness looking out for the monster and like keeps a record of what he sees every day.
seems like that guy has problems.
That
He also makes like little trinkets and all which he sells. So that's the whole thing. Is
I worry about
It's
that
an
stuff.
industry. It's an
And it,
industry.
like-
I worry about
yeah.
the industry because it makes me think it is shit.
What do you-
well,
a guy selling trinkets, you go, "This is probably bullshit."
A guy going, I'm here all the time and I keep a wee record, but here I'm also flogging S-bollocks that are made out of tinfoil. I'm like, right, like it's probably bullshit. Whereas if he was there,
But here's the thing.
surely I know it's a big ass body of water, but surely you could just fucking. Have they
Well,
ever sonared it or
yeah.
anything?
Yes, yes.
in the early 2000s, the BBC put a project together where they pretty much tracked the whole.
Taxpayers' money.
Sorry, thank God you mentioned sonar.
Not taxpayer. Well, sort of. License payer.
It is
License payer.
same difference.
See, Scott, they were also working with and the the Marmalade Air. They were also working with this Boston lawyer who was well into it, and he was big into sonar, and he took.
Don't you mean sonar? Loch Ness.
monster? The Loch Ness Monster.
Oh, this loch's wicked deep. You got to be smart. You want to catch a dinosaur. Unbelievable.
He that was our Kieran that said that. He uses sonar, and that's what really gets Scott going about all this, because they do find this like big image, this big clump kind of in the middle of Loch Ness of this what could be like the Loch Ness Monster. But anyway, they did.
How big is it meant to be?
Well, that
monster?
differs. That differs. 25 feet was what some of the first accounts. I think Spicer said something like 25 feet.
That's big, like.
Um,
Isn't it?
but here's
I mean, what's an elephant? An elephant wouldn't be 25 feet, like.
Yeah, not long. But
No,
like
like-
different shit. But like if it's quite slim, it could just hide under the water, Kieran. I mean, it's not going to have 25 foot of its body.
But if it's 25 feet long, what I'm trying to picture, so it's like, what would that be like, in terms of stuff that like I can actually picture?
4 of me long ways.
2 Amarocks.
No, it's not 2.
Probably.
1.5. It's a large car.
Anyway, there is a change in. You're saying about still not sure. The Scottish government are sure it doesn't exist. It seems that the attitude's changing there, where they're
It
not
suits
trying
them
to.
to say that though.
Yeah, but obviously,
That's the new Scottish separation.
but I think they're a bit sick of it, because what they're doing is
separatists.
they're sort of saying in education in Scotland now, when they kind of talk about this, they're saying like it's maybe become like Braveheart. It's maybe become like the idea of kilts. They worry that people are kind of laughing at Scotland for it. You know, so what?
What a fucking SNP response! What a humorless response! You'll not be fucking laughing at us.
Yeah,
we are. Your sausages are square, lads. All right.
When you go to the actual visitor centre thing for this, see at the end of it, they go, "So what really is the Loch Ness Monster? What's the verdict?" The visitor centre official response is like, "Nah, bullshit," which is great.
They say it's a sturgeon.
It's a sturgeon, Nicola. Imagine it came up and it just had Nicola Sturgeon's head.
They say it's a sturgeon. How big is a
25 feet?
You don't get sturgeons that size, do you?
Not these days.
Sturgeons are the ones that
I think they're basically saying it's bullshit. Also,
they're that's the caviar fish as well. That's where you get. I'm from obviously beluga whales and stuff, but you get caviar out of a sturgeon. Like
experts have tested the DNA of the water in Loch Ness, and they're like, "There's nothing special about this. Nothing magic's happening here, boys."
It's a wee bit sad.
So, if we talk about the myth and the history, Kieran, do you think? I think you smell a cover up here.
I think it suits, doesn't it? It suits some people to go. It suits their own. Do you know what? It totally suits their own visitor centre to be like, nah, it's shit.
Oh, okay. Yes,
you know?
yes.
Oh, sure. It's all Scottish people. It's all a laugh.
Right.
Until it isn't,
yeah,
and that
yeah.
keeps you coming back. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the idea that there's something there. Like, but I mean. It's probably not a big fucking dinosaur, is it?
No.
It's probably people fucking about.
There is a serious journalist who wrote a book about it back in the 70s. Now,
I know it.
I'm not sure what the book's about because I'm not going to read it. But we've got an image here.
This guy, can I say before you bring it up, the guy who wrote which is funny.
Is this the top thing?
No. Oh, wait, fuck.
We need to cover that because I need to know who that is. I need to know what
the guy who wrote the book pricks Scott's interest that much that he's like, let's go and look for this. But the guy who wrote the book will blow you away. Go ahead.
You'd never guess, Kieran.
Big Nicky Witchell.
Nicholas fucking
Witchell
royal.
it,
Sure.
yeah.
Well, here. Do you know what makes me believe it? Because he still covers lizards to this day. That guy, the BBC royal correspondent, Prince Charles or King Charles now. He's the one that he fucking slabbered about. Remember that clip of him sort of leaning in, but they could hear him, and he basically goes, "There's that Ginger cunt again."
The Duke of Edinburgh. The Duke of Edinburgh, by the way, was well into the idea of Loch Ness because all these people want.
He's probably related to it.
See,
fucking big amphibian. That's what the Duke of Edinburgh Award's all about, going out into the fucking lochs and seeing his relatives.
See all these people from like Scott and all these guys, they just wanted to just be adventurers, didn't they? They wanted to be like the people they read about in books and all this kind of thing. But Nicholas Witchell well into it.
This is a great photo of Nicholas Witchell because now he's wee prim and proper, wee dick. But back there, he looks like
he's just walked out Urban Outfitters with a haul.
He sort of looks like somebody that would play drums for our Kev twice and Thirsty Goat and never be back. You know what I mean?
And weirdly not ask for money.
No, it's all about experience for me.
Dan, bring up Alistair Crowley, please. So he was a necromancer. What does that mean, Kieran?
So like a guy horned up by the dead, but also he's like a famous occultist. Like,
right, he basically said that he put up these signs around his property because he lived.
Yeah, he had a property by Loch Ness.
And he put up these signs saying, I don't know the phrase, but he's like, keep out, beware of. And there was a phrase of like, I think it means monster or something like that, but it really didn't mean anything. It didn't say the Loch Ness Monster, but it was some phrase he used.
He's probably wanting people to keep out because he's doing weird shit in his house.
Yeah, but locals.
He's like a famously fucking rare cunt. Like.
Yeah, but locals got that scared by because they didn't know what it meant. Beware of what? They got that, and word spread, there's this fucking guy, and he can summon spirits and demons and all this kind of thing. People then came to him and went, oh, when the Loch Ness Monster really hit the news and stuff, they were like, you came up with this is you. But he was talking about something different, but he claimed, he was like, yes, that's me, I started this whole thing. So he tried to get some LNP, Loch Ness props. But he was just Billy Bullshitter in a weird hat.
Yeah, he is. He's a rare cunt. Like,
he looks like he's announcing a show at the Belfast Cathedral Quarter Arts Festival there.
He-
well.
Yeah. He has a wee bit of the comedian doing his first special in the Black Box, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Wee bit
Alistair
of
Crowley.
yeah.
Yeah, taking it to the fringe.
Yeah. Yeah,
Weirdly with that hat, we
looks,
don't know if he has one.
that looks like a fringe poster. The only thing that would make that look more fringe poster if he was doing that.
Yeah.
Alistair Crowley, My Incredible Life with Satan.
It's a show about a disease he has, and it's called Illuminati. How I recovered from syphilis.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the Pleasance Underbelly at 10:33 a.m.
Yeah, fucking 3rd to 28th, except 11th.
Where he's digging up a grave. Box someone where weirdly encounters the whole Bartlett clan.
That's unbelievable for me. Like,
Use your grave robbing.
I know.
He's robbing people in graves. So the Loch Ness Monster, I'm going to say, is all myth.
but there is a good history around the myth.
But there's a great history around those myths.
That's good.
I enjoyed the story. I didn't know a lot.
I didn't know anything. I didn't know any of this apart from what I said at the start. Just movie dinosaur in a lake.
But Kieran Bartlett thinks
Maybe
in those deep murky waters.
I often think that stuff like this.
think
It can't come out of nowhere. I don't think. I think somebody's seen something.
somebody. There you have it, folks. Somebody's seen something. Thank you very much for watching or listening to another episode of Mythstories. We will be back to separate. What are we saying now?
Myth from history.
The myth from history. You and me gonna
Gonna
solve another mystery.
mystery.
Oh, we could start the greatest pod that the
Spotify's
world has
ever seen.
Yes, you and me. Oh no, it goes. You and me, two friends who love our history. Whoa, we could start the greatest pod Spotify has ever seen.
Also available on other apps.
You and me, you and me, we're two friends who love our history. Whoa, we could start the greatest pod Spotify has ever seen, on other platforms too. You and me, gonna solve another mystery. Oh,
Oh,
thanks guys.
thanks.